Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be listening to some beautiful stories about angels. Like and subscribe.
Do you believe in angels? Well, according to some polls, 3/4 of Americans do. But if you're among the skeptics, you might want to change your mind when you see this next story. Here's NBC's Ron Mott.
Can you kiss me?
Colleen Banton didn't expect her disabled daughter Chelsea to see her 15th birthday, but she's now the gift of the season for this family.
You're 7. Can you count them?
A family counting its every blessing.
We've been praying for a miracle, and I think this is the beginning of it.
Back in September, pneumonia had pushed Chelsea toward death's door in a Charlotte hospital. Here she is with big sister Kaylee, who thought she was saying her final goodbyes. Yet an hour after life support was removed, jaws began to drop among some hospital workers over what appeared at another door near the teenager's room.
And this image appeared up on the security monitor. And it was an image of an angel. And I thought, well, either that's the angel coming to take her to heaven, or it's an angel to say that she's getting better.
And she got better all right, almost immediately, Mom says.
And the doctors and the nurses were all amazed.
The mother took this cell phone picture of the image, bright bands of light only visible on the hospital security monitor. The hospital confirms that some of its workers told the family they saw something as well.
It's a blessing. It's a miracle. And I'm learning not to take things for granted.
It's an emotional story to tell, and just off camera, Chelsea herself begins to cry at the sight of her mom breaking up.
Please don't cry. It's okay. It's okay.
And because she's okay for now, the focus is on celebrations. Her 15th birthday is right around the corner.
This will be a special birthday. Who knows, it could be her last, but she's come this far, and I'm not giving up now.
A birthday that comes every Christmas, but this year it's touched by an angel. For today, Ron Mott, NBC News, Atlanta.
Out in the middle of nowhere, I ran over something in the highway, and I happened to look down at my fuel gauge, and it was going like this. And the fuel was just pouring out on the highway. And then I saw some lights in the rearview mirror, and he pulled in right behind me. I told him what had happened. He said, I can help, this is what I'm here for. He towed me over to a service station, and there was one little cafe next door to it. Pulls out a set of keys, turns the lights on. And then he repaired my car, and he filled it up with fuel. I said, how much do I owe you, sir? He said, nothing, that's what I'm here for. The following week, I wanted to stop by there and thank him. The station was closed. The little cafe next door was open. So I walked over there and I said, sir, do you know the man that owns this service station? He said, son, that station's been closed for years. I said, no, sir. Last week, there was a man turned the lights on. He repaired my tank, filled my car up with gas. He said, well, it couldn't have happened here. It does not have any fuel in those pumps. And the electricity's been shut off for years. I said, Lord, what was that all about? He said, do you remember what the man kept saying to you? It's what I'm here for. It's what I'm here for.
Has anyone here ever encountered a ghost or an angel, and out of fear of not being believed, you never told anybody about it? I'll tell you my experience. In my senior year of high school, I was always plagued with these bad barbershop experiences. It seemed like, they couldn't quite get it right. Either they were always overcrowded, they would always cancel my appointments, or they would jag my haircuts. And when I say jag, I just mean they would mess my haircuts up, push my lining back too far, take too much off. It was always something. And I remember always feeling anxiety when I would go to a barbershop in my senior year, because I'm like, this is my senior year, prom coming up, and I just, want to be right. And I can't understand why I'm having this bad experience with barbershops. So prom come up, and I couldn't find the guy who normally cut my hair. He was out of town this particular week. I'm thinking that he sucks because he know it's prom week. Why would you go out of town this week? And so I'm complaining to my best friend about it at the time, and he tells me, he goes, there's a barber college right on Austin and Madison, on the west side of Chicago. I go, okay, cool. So I tell my mom about it, who knew about my bad barber experiences. So she drives me over there to this barber college, and true enough, there's this barber college sitting there right next to a liquor store. I go in, and this guy was ready for me. I go in, didn't know him. I just said, hey, I'm here to get my hair cut. I got prom tomorrow, need to get a haircut. He's like, oh, sit down, I got you. This man cut my hair without incident. And when I tell y'all, this man made me look like a model. He did such a phenomenal job. Haircut was only $6 because that's what my friend had told me. He had said it's a barber college and they inexpensive. They're not going to charge you that much because they're a college. So haircut ended up, as good of a job he did, haircut only ended up being $6. I came out to the car where my mom was waiting for me, and she was so wild. She gave me, I think she gave me $20 and told me to just give it to him and he can keep it. I go back in, I get him the $20, whatever. I'm real excited that I finally found this barber college that, they are phenomenal. They on point. So leave, didn't think anything of it. Go to my prom. Everybody complimenting my haircut. Oh my God, I'm the star of prom, right? So graduation is coming up the following week or whatever. And so obviously me and my mom are going to head back to this barber college, right?
Story of encountering an angel.
So I'm in my high school dorm, and I just finished up some prayer, and I just finished up some worship and whatnot, and I just end up going to sleep. So I had an alarm set super early in the morning at like 3 a.m. to wake up and pray. I didn't go with it, so I just hit the snooze button, the volume down button on my phone when the alarm went off. And I don't know what I was doing, because I would hit the down button again, probably thinking it was the power off button. But so it just kept going on this snooze rotation. So my alarm goes for like the third time again, and I wake up and I open my eyes and I see this hand that's a little darker than mine. I see it pick up my phone, but it turned off the alarm. I just shut my eyes and went back to sleep. And you may doubt, you may say, oh, it was his roommate. So not only was the hand darker, my roommate is white, but when I asked him, he said, no, I don't remember hearing anything. I was asleep the entire time. But all I know is that every night I lock my doors, so there's no way anyone else could have gotten in. And I was just getting out of the presence of prayer and peace and feeling the angelic around me. So praise the Lord.
I physically remember hearing myself take my last breath. I left my body through this beautiful fluorescent glowing mist, hovering over my body, looking down upon myself. And when I recognized that body wasn't alive anymore, this beam came from behind me so bright, it lit up everything underneath me. And it drew me right into the gateway. This beautiful tunnel. The tunnel was made up of magnificent colors. And now I am starting to move. But I'm feeling this amazing feeling. I have a feeling like I never had before, a love. The love was so incredible that you actually become the love. Now you're in this light, you're part of this light, and I'm moving at what seems to me like the speed of light. No debris, nothing, just light, beautiful colors whizzing by me, going through me. And this love is growing stronger and stronger. By the time I get to my destination, I remember distinctively saying, I'm home. I'm finally home. I remember hearing a soft voice speak to me. And she says, yes, Bill, you're home in the light of God. And then she says, my name is Antonia. I am one of your guardians. And now I'm being greeted by spirits all around me, family, friends. And I remember mingling, talking, feeling love from everybody. I recognize them, they recognize me. It's all, everything is done through telepathy. There's no mouths at this point. There's no bodies at this point. They're beams of light. I'm still a mist at this time. After it seemed like a few minutes have passed by and I hear this voice, hello, Billy. When I heard that voice, that was my brother's voice. My brother Peter, he was about 16 years older than me. And my brother was around with me all the time while I was growing up, teaching me how to play ball and taking me to my ball games when I was in the baseball leagues and everything. He was just a wonderful, wonderful brother. And then it came out of nowhere. He wound up having liver cancer. And they told him he was gonna have 4 or 5 months to live. And that devastated me. Now, I'm sure I know my brother's voice. When he said, hello, Billy, by this time everybody was calling me Bill in life. I was in my 40s, but I was Billy to him. And he says, hello, Billy. And I turned around and said, Peter. And the embrace was almost unexplainable. It was like you were part of them, they were part of you. Then he explained to me that he has to take me now and that we were going for something. And I said, what? He says, we're going for your life review. I didn't know what that was, but this is now the first sense I have again of my life back on earth. When I spoke to him, I forgot for a while. And he took me to another level, which they started this amazing, amazing thing. They showed me all the good I've done in my life. They showed me all the wrong I have ever done in my life. Luckily, thank God, I always say thank God, I never really felt like I really did anything really, really bad. But I didn't know the hurt I caused some people. But you get to feel that pain. You get to feel that hurt that you put onto others. You become the physical pain. And I was I was physically crying in my spirit, but no body. But it's like I felt the tears. It mounted so bad. I said, I can't take it anymore. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. And all of a sudden, a light came in and said, now we'll show you the good side. Thank God I did a lot of good in my life, especially with that job. Years as the paramedic, doing all that, trying to save people's lives and bring them back and help them in every possible way I could. That's when I understood what we're here for. I understood that we're here for service, to help one another. We're all connected. Until that time, I was a business person. I didn't think nothing in my head but business. I was going to come home from the show and I had an appointment to go to QVC and, that was my life. I didn't have those kind of thoughts in my life prior. And then Peter said to me, your third guardian is coming. And this man of great age, wisdom, when he approached me, I knew him my whole life. He was that voice that always spoke to me in my ear. He was the intuition that kept me out of trouble like a lot of my friends were getting in. I would always hear these things, it's not the right thing, You say that in your own mind, but that's your intuition. But he came to us and we were standing there. And I remember Antonia there, and Antonia said, look at yourself, Bill. I remember looking down at myself and I changed into this magnificent being. Now I was like the other spirits. I was this beautiful beam. Now we're back in spirit, so I'm just feeling that complete love again. In your spirit side, you're always in love, where you're connected to everyone around you. And they take me to a final level. All three of them take me to a final level, where I believe it's almost like a panel. They take me up in front of these magnificent, beautiful, beautiful angels all around. And I remember they explained to me that you are going to get wisdom and knowledge through these angels. I started getting bombarded with different thoughts. Angels would approach me and I would see the universe. Angels would approach me, I would see combustion, nebulas being created. I would understand that we all come from stardust in somehow, some form. Another angel approached me, crystal numbers floating down in lines and numbers with light. All these numbers were lighting for me. I couldn't understand. The 3, the 9s would light over and over and over again. The 6 would light. These particular numbers, the 1, the 8, the 3, the 6, the 9, they lit up brilliant. And they explained it to me as if those numbers, they mean everything. If we didn't have these numbers, we wouldn't have our tides. They explained on Earth, we wouldn't have seasons. We would not be here if it wasn't for these numbers. One more angel approaches me, says to me, you must return. I'm feeling complete love. I said, no, please don't send me back. I was pleading over and over again. She says again, you must return. I did everything I possibly could think of not to have to come back. The next thing I know, I'm being pulled back through a vortex, flowing back faster and faster and faster, and then I'm starting to feel pain, and then I'm zapped in my body.
This morning, a small Missouri town is looking for the man in this sketch. He's not suspected of a crime, but a miracle.
I think that this time I've actually witnessed a guardian angel at work.
Sunday morning, a drunk driver hit Katie Lenz head on, pinning the 19-year-old in the front seat of her convertible. Her vital signs failing fast, she asked rescue crews to pray with her. That's when first responders say a man who looked like a Catholic priest seemed to appear out of nowhere, despite a 2-mile perimeter blocking the scene.
He began to pray and use the anointing oil. There was a calmness that to me seemed to come over the entire scene.
Another seemingly divine detail, firefighters say their equipment kept failing until that mystery man showed up.
The words were to remain calm, that our tools would now work. Instantaneously at that moment, our neighboring department arrived with fresh extrication tools.
Lenz was saved, but when crews turned around to thank the man, he'd vanished. This morning, Lenz is recovering in the hospital with broken legs and ribs. But some say it could have been worse, if not for that seemingly heavenly hero on the highway.
Whether it was just a priest as an angel, serving as an angel, or an actual angel that came in, he was an angel to all those and to Katie.
For Good Morning America, John Muller, ABC News, New York.
Angel story time. So as most of you know, I used to work night shift at the hospital. On this day, I had to be at work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I decided it would be the best day for me to throw my son a birthday party. So on that day, I got absolutely no sleep. I was practically running on fumes. 7 p.m. comes around and I have to be at work. I make it through my shift on just straight up caffeine. By 7 a.m., I'm pretty much dead to the world. I remember walking out into the parking lot and having to do jumping jacks to kind of wake myself up. I get in my car, I'm putting my windows down, I have the wind hitting my face. I'm trying to do everything to stay awake. I figured if I can just keep my eyes open, I'll be fine. And I was only like a 5-minute drive home. So I get on the road, I'm driving down the road perfectly fine, and when out of nowhere, I completely doze off. I get woken up to something shaking me by my shoulders and yelling in my ear, "Wake up!" So I wake up, I'm completely startled, still driving, on the complete opposite side of the road. I know for a fact that was my angel that woke me up. Never again did I ever force myself to drive under those conditions.
All right, y'all. I did mention in a comment that I promised a part 2 to follow up from the angel in the bathroom story. So, I'm at the Casey's gas station, right? The car is dead in the parking lot. At the time, I had roadside assistance on my cell phone plan that my dad managed. And so my dad arranged for a tow truck driver to come pick me up. Now, mind you, I am in a very small town outside of Paducah, Kentucky. And no lie, the man who came to pick me up was basically driving Mater's tow truck, like from Cars. And before I get any further, he was so nice, so nice. So anyway, he picks me up, and I tell you that this man whistles more than he speaks. I don't know how many teeth he had, but enough to whistle, like really, really, really whistle. I was super impressed. And he had on like Cousin Eddie's winter cap, you know, with like the ear flips. And I really don't know anything that he said at that point. He just took me to McDonald's and got me food, and then took me back to his mechanic shop. Now, it's a small town. The mechanic shop was basically a garage, okay? And I am having thoughts at this point that, like, am I gonna die? I don't know. Am I gonna die today? And I was really pretty sure I wasn't gonna die because, you know, the angel just showed up and gave me this really powerful message. So I'm like, all right, it led me this far. I'm gonna be fine. Well, then, here comes Mr. Helper Guy to my Whistler guy. Now, Mr. Helper Guy is standing in the corner of this work garage. He's probably 6'5", maybe 120 pounds tops, right? He is wearing one of those mechanic jumpsuits that say like Mike on it, but really his name's probably Jim or something. And they look like capri pants because he's so darn tall. And he is just standing there in the corner like drag after drag after drag. And I swear to God, he looks like a skinny Frankenstein. And I'm back to my, oh my God, did serial killers just pick me up? It's like, is this going to be some wild show? Like I'm about to go to heaven and, you know, explain like, well, God was real and now I'm going to die. But it all worked out. It all worked out. They were lovely people. The guy in the back, the tall, skinny guy never spoke, and I never spoke to him. I just talked to lovely Whistler, Kentucky guy, who then, after he took me to McDonald's, he took me back to my hotel room where I spent the night, and my dad came to pick me up the next day. We drove back to Missouri, And then when it was time for my college break to be up and I had to go back home to Florida, my dad dropped me off back into Kentucky, picked up the car, and I drove home. No issues. So that's my part 2.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.